welcome again to the GDFL Footy Show, coming to you from a beautiful morning in downtown Geelong. And of course, last week we had a magnificent interleague game. Well, magnificent at the spectacle side of it, that was. But the scoreline at the end of the day wasn't really exactly what we were looking for. As a matter of fact, it was played out at the St Albans Reserve, and I'm going to ask one of my colleagues here exactly why we played at St Albans Reserve, but it was a fantastic day indeed. And the scores at the end of the day were the North Central Footy League were too good for the GDFL Raiders, kicking 14-14-98 to the Raiders 10-6-66. Blake Hutchison and Dylan Whitney were two of the best players for the GDFL Raiders, and it was interesting. The scores were level at half-time, but the North Central Footy Club, well, the league, went ahead and had a very, very convincing win indeed. Hello, I'm Dick Philpott, and once again I have assembled some of the biggest names and brains in country football to eradicate, adjudicate, communicate, articulate, and definitely not procrastinate. And he is the mayor without the hair, the Thompson legend, and the fur is bristling out there at the Tommy Tigers. They're on one in a row at the moment. Don't you worry about that. Johnny Mitchell, good morning.
Morning, Dick. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks, mate. And I'll talk to you in a minute about that game last Saturday. A very interesting game out at St Albans.
It was an interesting game. How did the birthday celebrations go, Dick?
Oh, very, very nice. Thank you. No, I did recover. It doesn't. I can't do what I used to do. I can tell you that now.
That's what Rosary says.
You idiot. I knew I led you in for that one. And of course, the man who does all the Colt segment, the mums love him. He is Alex Tagani. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning, Dick. Good morning, Mitch.
G'day, Alex.
Great to be back. I know I missed episode 2 shows ago, and I heard my grandma did get the mention, which is interesting, but no, always happy to be back, Dick.
That's all right. Your grandpa did a good job for the show. Don't you worry about that.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, we'll talk about it quickly about that game last week. It was at the St Albans. How come we played the St Albans Reserve, Mitch?
Oh,
you're in the inner sanctum with the GDFL.
I'm not on the inner sanctum at all, Dick, but I just think we wanted to give the North Central League a bit of a chance, and they certainly took it. Yeah, I thought it was a strange decision personally, especially with the side we picked. I didn't think there was a great deal of pace in that side, and you know, I heard the boys on the radio talking about it, and they reckon there's not a great deal of pace in the league. Well, you know, I beg to differ there. I think there's a number of players with a lot of pace, but North Central certainly exposed the open spaces and really, in the end, come away with a really comfortable win, and it was disappointing.
Some of the players playing out of position. You mentioned Jackson McLeod, of course, from the Tommy Tigers, playing on the back line. Was there any particular reason for that?
Well, look, I think they had him up forward early, and it, you know, it'd be fair to say it wasn't one of Jacko's best games, and he went to the half-back line, and really, you know, anyone who knows anything about Jackson McLeod, his best place is in the middle of the goals as a leading forward. And, you know, if you want to get the best out of Jackson McLeod, he hits up at the ball well, he's got a great pair of hands, and he's a strong kick. I thought it was an unusual thing to do, play him as a half-back. Thompson played him as a half-back last year, and I can remember the coach of Werribee saying, you're playing on Jackson McLeod, he will not go anywhere near you, we expect you to kick to the centre forward, we expect you to kick two goals a quarter, because Jacko is when he plays half-back, is one of those players that just wanders off and tries to get his own footy, and that's not his fault, that's just the way he plays it.
Yeah, Daryl Bissett made a good comment in the paper on Monday when he said that some of the big name players that had fantastic stats leading up until the interleague game absolutely just seemed to go missing, and you think they might have been overawed by the occasion?
Oh, look, I wouldn't have thought they were overawed. I'm still gobsmacked that a fellow who played in the last 3 Bellarine interleague teams in the centre of the ground couldn't even get in the squad, and we'll have him on later for an interview, Reece Helwell, and he's the Thompson coach, and I was absolutely gobsmacked because one of the things he does do, Reece, is you know, get the footy, and I don't know whether people don't think he's playing well, but he'd certainly be leading our best and fairest at the moment, and Fitzsimmons probably would have found out the week before how good a player he was.
Exactly.
You were there.
Yeah, well, scores were level. Don't remind me about the Thompson game again. The scores were level at half-time, and I think we had a bit of hope there, and I think it was more the fact too that North Central, with their bad kicking, probably kept us in the game, but scores being level at half-time, we were holding out some hope, but it just all fell apart.
Well, I thought at quarter time, you know, there's no doubt our pressure that we put on the North Central Football League certainly held us in good stead, and they progressively got better as the day went on. They started to kick better. One of the things that interested me more than anything was that they were rotating 4 people at a time on and off the ground, whereas our interchange wasn't used a great deal, I didn't think. So whether they just managed their players a little better and coming on and off the ground, and that gave them an opportunity to overrun us, you know, that's probably what happened in the finish, to be quite truthful.
Well, there's your analysis on field, Mitch, but I've got to ask, because I was only there for the juniors being my program, the crowd.
Yeah.
A lot of the top 10 of the leagues, as far as VCFL rankings goes, said their crowds were a bit small. How did you find the St Albans crowd?
Look, to be quite truthful, I thought it was a fairly decent crowd. You know, the reality to it was probably the only game of football in Geelong on the day, and I think people from all the leagues supported that. And I thought it was a good, strong crowd. And look, there's no doubt St Albans is a great venue, but I just can't understand why we would not play our own showcase game of football at one of our own grounds, because we've got plenty of them. North Geelong, Thompson, Belpost Hill, Bannockburn, you know, we've got plenty of good grounds now, and I just thought it was a bit strange and a bit disappointing that we didn't actually play at one of our own grounds.
I don't know what the reason was, because I spoke to most of the clubs and they were quite oblivious to the fact why it was played at St Albans, but apparently they took a vote at the directors' meeting, as they do, and that's how the decision came about. But gee, I wish some of those Thompson players had played like that the week before, though. They were picking up kicks on Saturday.
We only had one in.
Not picking up, mate.
We only had one in.
Jackson McClare was bad enough. He went to the...
We only had one. We might have done a bit better if we had a few more.
Oh, no, geez, it was a good game at the Thompson Reserve.
Well, actually, it was funny because North Geelong had a big representation, didn't they?
They did.
They got beat 2 weeks in a row then.
No, I don't beat. Did you let me in on that one?
I did that.
That was a little bit rough, but never mind. Yeah. But well, I know Alex will speak about it later, but it was a good result by the Colts. They had a win in the under-18s. That was a fantastic win indeed. And I know the girls mentioned on the netball show earlier on this morning that a great effort too by the GDFL netball sides, both sides. They had a very convincing win. But
your daughter played well.
Melody Philpott, an absolute gun, she is.
She is.
And she's got a little sister called Cheyenne.
Cheyenne. Yeah.
And only you and I would probably remember that show on TV.
That's right, yeah.
Look at Alex is completely oblivious.
Cheyenne,
what is Cheyenne?
No,
Sugarfoot.
Yeah, the Virginian.
Yeah, the Virginian, yeah. Bronco.
Rawhide.
Yeah, Rawhide, yeah. Hi-Ho Silver.
Hi-Ho Silver, and we're trying to make up some time there. Go, Rinny, you beauty. Yeah. And don't forget...
Stacey Jones, don't forget him.
Paddy McGrath on the Tarraco too. She was a fair piece. I don't know what she saw in Bert Newton. But never mind, that's another story. We're going to... A lot of this dribble, folks, we're not going to talk about that anymore. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll have a special guest, and we'll also talk to Alex about the Colts. Back up.
We come together, the best from all the league, to show them how to play and form a mighty team. The pride of our region with all our favourite sons.